Welcome to this bonus stream, session number 12 of Tears of the Kingdom. We are currently looking at a scorecard of 28 shrines and 95 Koroks. And we're picking up right where we left off in the previous stream when we were watching a rather lovely sunset over top of, this landscape here, where we see a rather conspicuous flaming Gleeok. I suppose we should stock some ice weapons or something and see if we can take it out that way. Currently guarding the bridge over Lake Hylia, we see this geoglyph. We still don't really know what these are about or what we will do with them, but they seem to be related to the structures over here, although that looks like it's actually one of the labyrinths that is much further off in the distance. The one over in the Hebrew region, perhaps? Or no, that's the one that's over the Gerudo region. The one over the desert, if I recall. Right along the border. It's been a while. Anyway. Yeah, because the third labyrinth would be a little further north. Perhaps. And we see this gaping maw here that apparently didn't give me any kind of discovery marker. Or map marker in general, although some of the other ones so far all have done so. So we did circle around that a bit to see if that would activate, but I suppose it really wants to dare you to set foot in there instead. Or maybe it's just something completely different. Anyway, we're on top of the log. This was a Korok puzzle in the last game. I don't know what it is in this game, but let's just continue the adventure and find out. No particular objective. We are still without a paraglider at the moment. And we have a pretty good idea of where to find it. There is a lookout or landing that we can already kind of see close to Hyrule Castle. There's a shrine over there that I think we hadn't actually marked, or had we? Oh, yes, we had. Okay. Next to one of the Misku treasures. And as you get closer, I believe there is going to be a lookout landing with Pura and Robbie. That is going to be somewhere around there. We've been given many contextual clues about that already, and perhaps there we'll finally get the mapping app when we bother to swing by. But we've got lots of other things that are worth doing in the meantime, and we'll just go and play. And yeah, it looks like it's racing a Korok down as usual. It's quick enough that I don't know if we could just run it or if we need a shield surf. I suspect we'll need to shield surf this one. Yeah, I suspect that's what it is. Which means we need to pick a shield where we don't care too much about the durability. The Night Shield, maybe. Rainbow Boko shield. I mean, worst case, it'll just peel off the outer layer and we just need to affix something new. I think so, anyway. Depending on how the durability works. We need some practice with the shield surf anyway, given that that's been our alternative for landing out of waterfall jumps so far. So, let's switch to a one-hander just to be absolutely clear about our ability to do this. Okay. These are not one-handers, these are all two-handers. Let's one-hander. Then we'll go jump into the shield surf. Just a little bit of Twilight Princess in this game, much like the bomb arrows. Yes, Supernova, it is a public holiday for me today, so we have a very rare day stream. Actually, the second one that I've run for Zelda, we had one last weekend as well, but this is the kind of game that makes me reschedule my life and make a couple of arrangements to make this happen. So we'll see if we can do it. It's very rare that I can get away with this, but for Zelda, we try to find a way, so. Also because this game is so absolutely massive that I suspect I'll have trouble finishing it if I don't do this from time to time. And because I have been playing it the slow way. Now, here's the problem. Ordinarily, I'd be quite prepared to take on these guys with a ton of electric arrows, especially because they're in water. Right now, I don't think I have enough arrows to do it. But we have other electric weapons that maybe we can use to shock them, so... Priority target is going to be these guys with the backpacks. There's a guy with a meat backpack. There's a guy with possibly ammunition. They're just going to stay here. I think their path got stuck or something. Oh, nope. Hang on. Let's get out of range. And he's going to walk back since he's been activated. We can pick a fight. We can at least pick off a few of these, perhaps. Which bow am I holding? Let's go high damage. Highest damage possible, actually. We are so low on arrows that... I don't know if the damage actually really scales with the ammunition, since it's mostly the elemental effect that we're going for, but I'll try to take out the entire line. Just... And then... Yeah, we'll have to be very efficient about this, since they are in water, and that means they're extra vulnerable to the lightning attack. And now we can just go for this guy directly. Let's see... I don't want to stand too close for electric attacks because I will be within range of them myself, so... Maybe I should stay at range. Or go for a throwing spear, which is extra durable, and which is also electric. But... Actually, let's ice him. Let's ice him. Oop. Missed. Okay, now let's smash him up. Where's my weapon? Spiked iron ball. Great, took it the whole squad. Really easily on a low budget. These guys were total pushovers. Luckily, they just stood still for me to do all that, and we probably even profited when it came to arrows. Which is great, because we're up to 32 arrows now. Yeah, we actually traded up, which is very much the ideal scenario when you get into a big fight like that. So we'll switch back to a lower damage bow. Yeah, basically as we had good targeting, we could take out a few of those at a time. How am I down by one weapon? How did I have a free weapon slot? I don't know, but... We'll take it and probably trade up to a boulder, or perhaps even an ice block, although that might just melt. In fact, here's something we can try, since we'll just experiment with this. What happens if I make an ice block and then fuse it? I think it's likely to melt. Ice Guster. Yeah. I doubt that will actually last very long, but we'll see if it actually stays in my inventory for a non-trivial amount of time. And yeah, very satisfying to actually trade up with arrows with that, because we've been running so perilously low for so much of the game. Anyway, let's continue. Some sneaky river snails. Very sneaky. So the thing I wanted to do was actually see if we could fight the Gleeok. It's likely to just toast me, but oh hey, green dragon, let's see if we can grab the scale. I think I'll be a little too slow to pursue it. But we did find the maw that it dives into, which is perhaps why this place isn't giving me discovery experience or discovery marker. Perhaps it's not the standard kind of entrance, but rather just an entry point for the dragon to do its thing. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be a little bit too slow to catch it. Because it's going to take a dive, and then we will miss it, I think. Yeah, just barely. But then at least we know what his exit point is going to be. I believe we did check this well in the last stream as well, just before we exited. And that it was part of a well system that wasn't actually giving me very much to work with. Now we can, however, see if we can take on the Gleeok. I'm not prepared for the lightning ones. As far as world mini-bosses go, we're pretty low on stats ourselves right now. But with ice weapons countering fire, there's some potential. Also, yeah, my concern with this kind of structure is coming back down, but if we come back down the wall that's on the right side right now, maybe that'll be good. Okay, we got some gloom here. We do have some gloom cure food, and lightning arrows might actually be okay against this if they're in water. Well, let's actually go for these. After a certain range, they do despawn, but I wonder if that would affect the clumps that you get out of them. Let's go Dragonbone Boko. We don't want to use too much of our best bow yet, now that we're not super short in arrows. Okay, doesn't really do that much damage. Nope. But we do need the area damage. Okay. Are they going to go away? They're not going to go away. They are going to, in fact, cause problems, so... Oh, got within shock range. That's a very bad idea. Got some gloom on me. We need to swat our way out of this before we die, so... Let's see. Yeah, let's shake the weapon. Okay. Our maximum health has been severely reduced, but we do have some food to cure that. It's just that we need to do something about this first. And then... Unfortunately... we might need to slap these guys. And soon. Fire weapon, this might be the time. Yeah, get some fire going, so you can burn them onto terrain. Actually, burning them onto terrain is the best idea here. I need to bloom food soon, before we're down by too many hearts. Okay. We're almost dead. Let's get the bloom cure. Where are we? Sunny Steam Meat is just going to raise me by 3. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. We'll need another one of those very shortly. But basically, if we toast them on terrain, I think that's going to be consistently best. Bow is down. We expend a lot of resources there. Before, in some other fights, we've been able to just run away from them, but... yeah, we don't have a very effective counter to them so far, simply because they catch up to me so quickly. And because my gear is so low, but... we'll heal up for the moment. And we'll continue. Yeah, luckily that Ice Guster will just trade for a boulder. Interestingly though, it does not really seem to melt right away. It tends to remain active for some time longer, although maybe it'll melt once it's in the open. And so... we probably do want to trade for the boulder soon enough. Yeah, it's in the water right now. It is going to suffer from these temperatures. But at least we know that's an available option. Doesn't really add much in the way of damage, but perhaps we could get some utility out of it. Okay, this will be Ascension. Let's figure out which way we're going. And more to the point, which way we'll be coming down. Up we go. Okay, more parts. Don't know what these are, first of all. Time bomb. That's interesting. We haven't seen one of those before. A time bomb. This looks like a stabilizer. Got a rocket. It'll probably launch a time bomb somewhere. But... yeah, we're kind of full up on weapons right now, though. But at least we know what this is. I haven't seen a time bomb before, maybe. Well, we have another boulder down below. We could perhaps test it out with something. But I'm also very comfortable with the current weapon set, so... tempted to drop one of the Lizzle Blades, perhaps, but... no, I think we'll just take the Dazzle Fruit and go. We can, of course, always try to whack one of these and see how it behaves, just so we have a proper sense of it. This looks like a stabilizer, maybe. But... yeah. You went to scoop ice cream and you launched it out of the carton and head height. It's kind of funny because that's what we're trying to do here in Zelda. Except, perhaps, without ice cream. But anyway, I hope that didn't cause too much of a mess and that you didn't lose out on too much ice cream. Okay. Let's take a look at the time bomb here. Stabilizer should make it stand up. Let's just see its range and its time. Pretty big, actually. Oh, and it activates things around it. It has a chain effect. So that's interesting. Because the damage from the time bomb radius actually activates other devices, if you had enough of these, you could do some kind of chained remote device interaction. It's the first time I've seen this in the game, so I didn't know how that worked, but now we do. Okay. Now that we have that, let's figure out which wall we're supposed to come down so I don't take too much of a plummet to my death. I think we had decided on this side, right? That's the one with the gentlest inclination. Yeah, because basically we need a wall that we're still able to grab onto on the way down, which is not something we can take for granted when we don't have the parachute. Link loses his right arm in this game, does he really? Luckily, we managed to do that in session 1. There's one mechanical thing that I've been spoiled on so far that I wish I wasn't spoiled on, but apparently it was in the trailers, and it is something to do with the recall power. And it's a very basic function of recall power that I just never figured out for myself. But other than that, we've been doing pretty well, considering that I am, what, probably close to 70 hours in this game right now. I actually have no clue whatsoever what is going on in it, because we haven't done any of the story, really. So we've been pretty good. I mean, it's been a fairly quiet stream here, because I think the people who really care about Zelda are largely playing it rather than watching. With a few exceptions who don't mind being spoiled by my stream. And because this game is so huge, you know, this early on after launch, if you're watching anybody play at all, you're likely to see something that you yourself have not seen, right? Which is why I've not been watching anybody else myself. Stabilizer down here, yeah, that's fine. Oh, seems like there's a little leaf bed under a tree here. Let's light it on fire and see what happens. We'll just slap it, I think, so we don't burn an arrow. Okay, got a Korok rock. Yeah, because I was going super spoiler-free into this game. I didn't watch any of the trailers from the past few months. And only vaguely heard that there was some kind of building mechanic in it before launch. I didn't see any of the demo footage or anything. And yeah, we were treated to a cave. It's just that our cave happened to be shaped like Mario Maker, or for much of this year, like Fire Emblem. I mean, I think that, like, the real risk is stuff like YouTube recommendations. That's the thing that really gets people often. Because, you know, likely as not, much of the YouTube content that you might be seeing would be Nintendo related if you are following this field as closely as I tend to do. Or if you're listening to a lot of video game soundtracks, for instance, which I often do. I had to avoid this with Xenoblade as well, because I haven't played the latest Xenoblade release, which is A Future Redeemed. Okay, we need to catch it. Let's go down and catch it. Come on. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I pretty much anytime I had to look up something Nintendo related in recent weeks, I was doing it out of my account in incognito mode. So pretty much anything video game related I was keeping off my YouTube account. Because recommendation spam can be pretty intense. Luckily, the main thing I use YouTube for nowadays is chess, and so my recommendations were just overwhelmed with chess content anyway to block things out, which largely helps. But anyway, let's take a look. But yeah, I kind of had to plan ahead to avoid things. And the thing is, like, a lot of Nintendo's own promotion for this game, I think, already gave me more information than I wanted to know. So as someone who does follow Nintendo news on a very, very regular basis, I had to plan ahead. And Tactics 47, yeah, someone did say chess. Welcome to our extra special bonus daytime stream, by the way, and I hope Victoria Day has been treating you well. But yeah, Tactics 47, I followed the recent World Championship match very closely over the course of the 3 weeks when it took place. You know, to the extent that I was able to as a very amateur pantser. But that seems to be my main use case for YouTube at all nowadays. So it's just watching things like recaps and GM coaching videos and so on. And yeah, Supernova, I actually, one of the things that was very illuminating as an experience for me, no pun intended, was that I felt like I saw too much of the Mario film before I watched it. And I wished that more of that was left as a surprise. On the other hand, the Mario trailers did go a long ways towards inspiring confidence in seeing the film in the first place, because previously I wasn't really that interested. And it turned out that I was actually very pleased with it. But I definitely felt like I saw way too much. And anyway, I have plenty of bread caps, I think. Come to light. Oh, you can eat it to glow. We know that. Okay, she's got shrooms. We've got plenty of each shroom, I think. We're probably okay. Yeah, there was excellent coverage from a variety of sources, yeah. Which was quite necessary, Tactics 47, because, as you know, I run a pretty crazy schedule, but even I can't keep up with Kazakhstan time over the course of multiple weeks. I was able to do so maybe a decade ago when I was watching StarCraft broadcasts from Korea regularly, but this time around, definitely had to keep up from a variety of different channels. And yeah, Supernova was a very tightly paced experience for sure. Almost unusual this day and age, when I think featured films, even animated ones, have become increasingly a little bloated. Have we been to that stable yet? I don't think we have. So that might be a good one. We're kind of moving back towards the center of the map, which is where the player is supposed to start, and where we absolutely didn't. The bridge I was actually looking for is not this one, but a one down here, because we want to see if we can take on that boss. Oh, how many arrows do I have? 22. Yeah, Tactics 47, I don't know if that even counts as Nocturnal at that point. But I mean, following anything at all with classical time controls, I think, is a bit of a tall order to begin with. Unless you're really able to fully engage with some of the analysis, but... And yeah, 1K Man is very unusual, but it is a public holiday for me today. 1K Man, I thought it was... I thought you were in Canada as well, for some reason. And so I pulled a few strings to make this happen. Supernova, fun fact, if Astro Boy was a success, the studio would have made a Zelda movie. Yeah, I think I've heard that. I do know somebody who is very much an Astro Boy specialist, who also happens to be an Italian Renaissance specialist, who happens to be really, really into Astro Boy. I think I might have heard something like that. Oh, 1K Man, you're in the US. That's right. So you already had your... No, I guess you would have your Memorial Day next week, if I'm remembering correctly. I knew you were in North America, but couldn't remember exactly. Yeah. I just go by the flags on people's Maker accounts, right? So... Okay. So, I want to see if I can take on this guy, or if we just get nuked instantly, which might happen. Given that I'm very, very undergeared. I'm still wearing some early game protective material, basically, with no upgrades whatsoever. And we got absolutely smoked by his lightning-based equivalent. Here's a glider. Glider with some wheels and a fan. We can actually take it and fly over somewhere. We don't know what this whirlpool is about either. But that looks like something that I shouldn't step in yet. You're not familiar with holidays. You live on Europa. Yeah. Like in the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. In fact, 2010 Odyssey 2, which was adapted into a film that was stylistically very different from the first 2001: A Space Odyssey back in the 1980s. That is actually about exploration of Europa, if I recall. For some reason, that's just first association with that comes to mind. B-Minutes, what is happening with my Link's outfit? Well, this is what happens when you have only really done a few side quests, and optional objectives and haven't really bought things from shops. I have very little armor value, as you can see. And so this almost entirely cosmetic side quest reward is actually currently my best piece of armor. So that's what's happening with the outfit. Also, NPCs react to it, and it's quite fun to watch. Without spoiling too much about where and when you can get that. Lobster's Reef, thank you so much for the sub. Very glad to see you here. The audio is a bit messed up. I didn't know that. Let's fix it. Thanks for telling me. I didn't realize that. And we'll just fix that up quickly. "2001: A Space Odyssey" is one of the experiences that I highly recommend seeing in a cinema if you can sometime. Because it's a film that you kind of need to drown yourself inside. You know, it's not for a small TV or your laptop. You kind of need to let it wash over you properly. And you need to feel trapped inside it, I think. I mean, it's a great film regardless, but it's the kind of film that is very much a distinctly cinematic experience. Okay, thanks for warning me about the audio. Hopefully this is a little better. Yeah, I mean, it's still perfectly watchable and very, very enjoyable in any case. But just given a lot of its pacing and a lot of the pleasures inherent in its photography, I highly, highly recommend seeing it in a cinema if you can. So, which doesn't happen often, depending on where you live, but if the opportunity ever arises, that's the way it should be done. It's one of the few films I'll say that for. But it's definitely not for people with no attention span. I think, I don't know how well people who are sort of newer to cinema generally take it. I suspect that some of them would be frustrated with it being much slower than what they are used to in a lot of popular Hollywood nowadays, which, you know, I'm the person who just complains about modern Hollywood editing constantly. I think film editing for a mass audience has really been in bad shape. But yeah, you kind of really need to... Oh, let's kill these guys first. Play along with the pace of the film. Smash this guy up. Maybe not smash up our vehicle while we're at it. And wait, hang on. Okay, we're going to do it the Breath of the Wild way. And kick him. There we go. I did that so much in the first game, and I've hardly gotten a chance to do it in this game, so we had to do it. Blue Blur, welcome. My goodness, people are actually turning up. I should run daytime streams more often, although I usually can't. The number of your students that said they haven't seen a movie in months or years is crazy. I mean, if it's years, then they haven't seen one since they were little kids, right? I think in general, though, very few films have made a case for being seen in a cinema. You know, my problem with things like the Marvel films, for instance, is that, oh, well, among other problems, is that they have this top-of-the-line effects work, but the actual editing and cinematography is so pedestrian that it's not really a big screen experience, right? Like, there are films where you feel like you kind of get the full measure of what they offer you visually on your laptop. And yeah, it's partly maybe a change in attention span as well, that, you know, things are the length of a TikTok clip nowadays. And yeah, anyway, let's see what we have over here. Anyway, this guy, this Sheikah, is going to warn me not to cross, I bet. Or maybe he needs an escort. Got a source of information. We haven't talked to her, so who knows. Use her in stable. And you're bad at directions. But you're very lost, so he's gone. Okay, so let's see. We're not really prepared for this guy. We have very few bows. Yeah. I actually used to go to the cinema a lot. I usually had cinema club memberships in the cities that I was living in. I went very often. I far prefer the experience to sitting at home, and especially, not so much for the big special effects blockbusters, but for independent films that really have this meticulous cinematography to them, you know, where they're very precise about direction and the composition of the image. I found those to be the ones that were the most rewarding experiences. So anyway, Flame Gleeok, he's going to pursue me. We're going to try to go Ice Arrow against him and see if the ice weapon will do anything for me. I need flame resistance, don't I? Yes, I do. Well, okay. We can just kind of outrange him. Perhaps. I bet if you approach him from behind, I think maybe he turns around, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. We haven't fought any of these guys before, so... I feel like I need some fireproofing. Fireproofing. Fireproofing, where am I? Fireproofing is only against the weather, right? Though it might not actually be good against this, but... You know what? We'll do it. This is usually the anti-Goron thing. We're kind of in hot conditions anyway, as you can tell by the temperature dial right now. Which might actually give me an opportunity to switch to the Wind Waker shirt. Let's see here. Although it's 1 armor, so maybe that's not the best idea. Wind Waker shirt would give me just enough resistance against the temperature, but the armor value would go down by a bit. We need a heat resistance and the flame resistance, I think, because flame resistance won't actually protect me from the temperature. It'll just protect me from the fire effect. So let's go like this. And let's see if we can actually take this guy. We obviously can't use flame weapons, but shock weapons might be okay. So let's go for the shock spear. William Shock Spear. Oh, and he's going to take off. All right. That doesn't look good. And let's try to go Ice Arrow again. Wow. I just got nuked. Okay. Maybe we're not ready for that yet. Yeah, Blue Blur, I very rarely stream at this hour. Lobster's Reef, your favorite is Empire Strikes Back. That is an excellent, excellent choice. And it's remarkable. I saw somebody who works in special effects recently point out just how wonderfully, because it was the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, right? Just how wonderfully Return of the Jedi has aged, and how, you know, there's just so much in the shot design that is built to last. And that's true of the original trilogy generally, I think. But if you look at, you know, the major sequences in Return of the Jedi, it's not like there's been this big generational jump from that you can see decade to decade in older films. But yeah, the original trilogy in general just holds up wonderfully. I don't think we're ready for this guy, but yeah, and he's kind of toasty around him. Like, he sort of creates this heat effect surrounding him. However, we were off by half a heart, and I wonder if we kind of have that one-shot protection if we heal up. But we couldn't even get in to get a hit on him yet, so I think we might have to come back when we actually have some gear, like we found with the lightning guy. Which is too bad. I mean, you know, it's easy to go around this bridge. This is entirely, as far as we know right now, an optional objective, but we'll see. So we might have to back out for this one. Not for lack of trying. And yeah, Supernova, since you mentioned Interstellar, I actually know some of the filming locations for Interstellar rather well. In terms of where they actually did a lot of the location shooting for the scenes on Earth. But anyway, we need to probably prop up this sign that's already kind of fallen over. Let's see. Oh, this one's already fallen over, though. I wonder if we're supposed to raise it, or if it's just given up for lost already. Actually, let's see the falling pattern first, because I don't really know which way this one will go. Usually we just guess, and we still do it. But okay, it's going to be forward. So we don't need to fix the configuration of his sign. It's just going to be bent. But you met Christopher Lloyd this past Saturday. Really? Well, that sounds like the kind of thing that people would dash off to do at 88 miles an hour. Yeah, we need a plank here, not one of these. Let's do that. Just move this back. And we'll slip this in and reinforce. Slowly getting better at understanding the rotation. But not quite. Okay, we'll just brace it. We probably need to make some triangles and brace it in either direction, since this is going to spill forward and pull everything with it, so... And yeah, that totally doesn't work, because unless we weigh it down. Yeah, because it's going to spill forward, so to prevent that, we're just going to reinforce the structure. Maybe even pop something in front, and then... Because, yeah, what we actually want to do is connect it like this. Okay, that's going to have a little too much tension from the attach point. Yeah, the attachment point isn't great on that. Let's just do this and then reinforce. Hang on. We're just going to spill forward, I think. This will be fine. We'll add another one, just in case. Keep them lined up. You drove close enough to the speed limit to not get ticketed. Yeah, that might help too. So was this at a convention then? It was convention season. Christopher Lloyd and a very long line of decorated Klingon captains. Motor City Comic Con, I see. Alright, let's get him secured. And B minutes, if you're still here earlier, you were saying something about Kill Bill. I think that actually still is my favorite Tarantino. Mostly because I was pretty familiar with a lot of its inspirations as well. Like, you can really tell how it was, in some ways, almost the most Tarantino film in terms of being a fulfillment of his aesthetic project to kind of, take the aesthetics of 70s B-movies and cult classics and sort of translate them into the particular affectation that he brought into his own body of work. So anyway, let's grab this. Yeah, Supernova, the problem with catching up on a lot of classic cinema is that it kind of interferes directly with video game time if you're mostly a video game person. I found it fortunate that I've lived in many places that had very good repertory cinemas that would, and a lot of good festivals often that would schedule access to some really great work, and not just necessarily things that are obvious, but curated programs that would introduce you to directors, styles, countries, etc. that you might not have thought of discovering yourself through some kind of list or recommendation. Do we want to take these guys? I don't know that we do. We can see what's going on with the Colosseum. Actually, I'm curious about the Colosseum. We haven't been this far, and I didn't really intend to wander this far, but here we are. Am I interested in some Tears of the Kingdom science? Your friend was doing experiments in ultra-hand attachments and found the limit. As in the numerical limit? I don't mind you telling me that, if we know what the actual cap is before the game just denies you. Because I'm unlikely to experiment with it to that limit myself, even though we have been playing with a couple of things to test out the weight system and how the control sticks work and so on. But yeah. You see, until the pandemic, I was never really that comfortable with watching films at home on my computer or anything like that. So I prefer just parking myself in a cinema. But, over the course of the pandemic, obviously, I kind of had to learn to do things that way. And even so, it competes directly with attention to video games or Twitch or what have you. That's very true. Anyway, this is just the plateau wall. We can ascend through it if we want to see the plateau. Maybe see what's going on with the Temple of Time. We haven't been out this way at all, so... Because you can see from the map, I've only really covered the right side. We do see a couple markers for shrines that I was hoping to do on my way back over to Kakariko, but... yeah. 20 attachments... is... I don't know if that's lower or higher than I expected. Probably lower. We've already created a couple of contraptions that go up to about 10 or so. I think I had a platform with a balloon and a flamethrower. That's 3, plus a whole bunch of batteries and 2 rockets for thrust and such. That's already, getting to about 10. We were already doing a couple of builds that were about 10 pieces. So. Anyway, Great Plateau. We have not been here at all. And we'll find out what's going on with it, because I don't know. But at long last, we go back to the tutorial of the first game to see how it has transformed. There is a goddess statue in the Temple of Time, if it's still active, and there we have enough orbs to plug in 1 upgrade. So we can do that. This place is not too different from how I remember it. Minus the shrines, of course, and the tower. But that's just at first glance, and there could be such things as bigger changes afoot. Especially if we find the Shrine of Resurrection or whatever now resides in its former location. And oh, here's another death squad. We're a little tight on ammunition right now. We fought the previous one off with lightning arrows. But that was on water, and so that made it an extra easy fight. I think we'll leave those guys for later. What's in the backpack? So you can actually sneak up to these guys and steal from their backpacks. As we found out through a bit of experimentation. Mostly because I was trying to recreate the Lost World Jurassic Park and, you know, snipe one of them at a time in a grassy field. That did not work, but we learned a few things about stealing meat in the process. Yeah, because I was trying to sneak strike one of those guys and was rather surprised to discover that it gave you the input to steal from them instead. And it takes priority over sneak strike. You don't get the sneak strike prompt, I think, until you are done with your petty theft. Anyway, Aracuda, yeah, we need its eyeballs, so we'll try to take some of these guys down. We don't need a super bow for this. These guys die instantly to any arrow shot, so... They're basically like wyverns in Fire Emblem. They don't do well against archers. But we do need their eyes. Because those give me homing arrows, and that's extremely useful. Anyway, Temple of Time, let's see what the goddess is up to. If it's up to anything at all. It's still here. Just hanging around. What is this? Oh, these are just pots, okay. Good old Zelda pots. The way we remember them. This is, of course, also the original Great Plateau music. And that's sort of interesting that there are these other statues around it. I don't think that was formerly the case. There are 6 of these. Let's see what this interaction is. If it just lets me upgrade or if there's something special that happens. I am trapped under the water behind a stone gate of the Great Plateau. Okay. Behind a stone gate. What stone gate? I guess we'll find out. Have I been talking to the geoglyphs? No, I didn't know you could talk to them. I have visited at least 3 geoglyphs, but we haven't had any kind of interaction. So let me show you, because I don't think it'll spoil you on anything at this stage. This is what my adventure log looks like. We've done a little bit of story. We did the Zora quest up to a point. Everything else, not one bit. We don't have the mapping tool. We don't have the glider. We don't have any of that. So now I suppose I know that you can talk to the geoglyphs, but I don't know how, so that's okay. We'll see if there is a Korok in this old location. This was around the part where I found my very first one in a previous game. Yeah, no worries. I mean, the thing is, you know, I play in such a way that there's some likelihood that people will spoil me on stuff that they find to be extremely basic and easily taken for granted. This is, of course, going to be a Korok. Yahaha. That's Korok number 100. We actually still haven't found Hestu either, so I have my original inventory slots still. But yeah, like I've been saying, this is very close to how I was playing Breath of the Wild as well. I mean, Breath of the Wild, we uncovered the map as soon as possible, but what I did was I didn't talk to Impa in that game either for a very long time. I think I was at about 109 shrines when I did the Divine Beasts for the first time. And then after that, we talked to Impa, and she does in fact react to the fact that you've done the quest without her. This is the original campsite, of course, for the king. We'll see what's going on with the Shrine of Resurrection. We will, of course, look for whatever is trapped under the water gate, and we know what gate that is. Does the Great Plateau technically have a gate? I didn't remember that. This seems blocked off, or so. Is that my original? No, it's over there. That's your original starting point when you come out. This very memorable promontory, which currently has a rabbit on it that will poke for money. This didn't even cover the cost of the arrow, so. And, oh, yeah. So it disappears inside there, and so this is the original Shrine of Resurrection, and then we can relive old stories by coming out here and gazing upon the world in all its glory. Except pieces of it are falling out of the sky, which is different. There's a particular terrifying enemy. Have I met it? Are you talking about the one that drops the dark clumps? Because we saw one of those earlier today, and we've seen them several times over. And yeah, those... So there's a reason that I've been stocking up on anti-gloom food. Because we've learned a few things about the hands the hard way. Oh, that looks new. Who's encamped over there? Oh no, that's just the same old tower. I bet the Talus is probably still hanging around as well. Here's a shrine. Let's mark it. And then Great Fairy. We actually haven't found any of the Great Fairies so far. So this is a significant discovery. And we're going to go hard for that. That's a very significant discovery, in fact. Because we have met the horse god in his location in this game, but we haven't met the standard fairies at all, so. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think it says something in Lobster's Reef that you said a particular terrifying enemy, and I just sort of immediately understood what you meant. Discovery, the Shrine of Resurrection, which is a cave. So it qualifies as a discovery. Oh, here's one of these. Oh, did I not hit it very well? Okay, that's fine. We don't know what this currency is for yet, but we'll find out eventually. And we've got a boulder, so let's just smash a couple things here. We need arrows anyway, so... Here's some water. Oh, and it is a healing pool, even though it doesn't have its original machinery. And even though it doesn't have the gate that takes you down to the motorcycle in the Champion's Ballad. I'm going to ascend out of this, I think. And we'll see if we can pop up on top. Everyone has understood what you meant. Yeah, I'm not surprised at this stage. So anyway, we found a Shrine of Resurrection. Let's go up. Or, oh no, let's go down. Let's go down. This is new. Maybe it does take you down to where the motorcycle was parked. Okay. I mean, clearly this is something new, quite new in fact, with Ashika digging around for something. Okay, sure, we'll drop. Not a great height. Oh, that's new. Well, let's talk. You must protect yourself. Oh, okay, this is one of the helpful constructs. So I charge? That's all it is. Can I activate him? Or does he just give me charges? This seems rather suspiciously minimal. This is a Yiga trap. This thing. Maybe we need to spring the Yiga trap before we can deal with this guy. Danger, danger, yeah. He's saying danger because there's a Yiga trap, so we need to take the bananas, kill it, and then we can talk to the construct. So let's get ready for a fight. Let's, we need something swift against the Yiga. I think Electric Spear is probably not a bad idea. Because we need something swift. And... although maybe we want something that will allow me to use my shield, so... maybe a one-hander instead. Whoops. Wrong page here. Yeah, because we got a couple of two-hander blades. Which I didn't realize were two-hander blades. Yeah, we'll go to club. So we can shield. The noble swordsman scrounging for scraps, yeah. I rather deliberately fell for this, so... now the tables have turned. Our secret storehouse for treasures from adepts. Yeah, I actually did see on a map earlier in the game that the Yiga had set up a base in the Great Plateau, so... let's see how tough this guy is. Oh, a couple of them, okay. Ah, total pushover. Okay. Okay. Okay, one down. These guys are not bad at all. Just gonna go down and then we swat him. Easy. Gotta get some kind of special... oh, duplex bow. We haven't seen one of these in this game yet. And now the construct is able to give me something, but we'll scan here first. Eightfold blade. We'll see if there's something we can trade into it, because I do like those. Nah, that's okay. We were using one to just chop down trees earlier in the game, but... so here's the storehouse. I was hoping to get one of the Yiga gear pieces here. These interlopers carried me here with them from the depths. We know they have a base in the depths as well, so that's not really something new, but... manage schema stones. A great deal of zonite was mined and processed there. I have something for you, but... okay. Visit the great abandoned central mine in the depths. We haven't been to the depths at all, so this is not something we know about. Great abandoned central mine. Alright, so we've been story gated by something here. Involving the schema stones. And maybe it will be valuable, so... oh, eightfold blade. We're a little short on one-handers right now, to be honest. But so I guess we had the two different fire weapons, and yeah, a lot of these are two-handers, which are generally a little too slow for my purposes. But two-hand hammer. Yeah, we actually just have this for one-hander. So maybe we'll drop one of the fire blades, even though I don't know. I don't really want to drop something too high durability. This is a one-hander, right? Yeah. Okay, no, we'll just stay on what we have for the time being. We just need more slots. We just need to find Hestu at some point. Anyway, let's head back on up. And... yeah, Shrine of Resurrection is still here. Do we need to heal up? Yes, we do. Nice hot spring. then we'll see what's above here, too. Oh, in the snow. Do we have clothing? Yes, we do. For this level of cold, we are fine. Okay. Because we just need one piece of resistance, as we know from the first game. In this area. Then... ice skis. That's fine. Yeah, we might as well get some ice out of these. If we can. We should probably shoot them out of the sky, but you know, I'll do it this way. Oops. That's why. Okay. We need faster weapons. First time we looted one of these. But we'll take it. So anyway, we've seen the Temple of Time. We are looking for some kind of gate. A gate to a Great Plateau. What could that be? James D, yeah, it's a very rare bonus stream because I have a public holiday today. I can sneak in a little bit extra before we return to our more regular and inaccessible time. Goes to show, you know, people can actually watch me at this hour, and perhaps that will necessitate some kind of change in schedule in the long run, but we'll see, because, you know, I stream when I can, because that's the only time I can. Alright. Let's see here. This guy doesn't look suspicious at all. He doesn't look like the typical Yiga type. Real bananas. This guy's totally a Yiga clan guy then. Offering bananas. We can fight him anyway. No harm done. He's totally a clansman. Grill one up for me? Yeah, no, I think he's going to fight me if I ask him to. But we'll fight him. Oh, maybe not. That's quite a lot of bananas that actually aren't really going to be nearly worth that much. Beg the bananas forgiveness. Thought so. Okay, we should probably heal up against this guy. Let's eat up a little bit, just to clear some space. Spicy peppers, very well placed here. Got some Sunderland off of that too, which is nice. Okay. Let's see, we probably can go up that waterfall, but another bunny there who will... If the previous bunny's behavior was any indication, it might even lead me to a cave system or something. I actually think we should check behind a waterfall, but to do that we will need some thing to ride on. I mean, we can also just chop some logs and make a raft, but there's a bit of a current here, so maybe that's not going to be as straightforward as we might think. We have quite an ample supply of wood. Oh, treasure chest. Okay, a stone axe. Maybe we can replace the... Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to chop some trees. We'll probably have to switch back to the hammer, but we'll, first of all, drop this crate. And we're going to probably make a raft, although, again, the current is quite strong, and I don't know if this will quite get me where I need to go. But since we do have an axe, let's... Oops. Actually get some chopping. We might just plug a fan in, because we have quite a few in excess. Oh, whoops. Over chop that a little bit. What we should do is actually make 2 rafts and use them to transfer ourselves across the river. And we'll show you how that's done. Okay, let's grab this. Or we could even just make a really huge bridge or something, although we'd want to make that too wide. Just to simplify things, but... Basically, whoops, we're standing on that. I mean, if what you're telling me about maximum of 20 parts is true, then we can actually make this quite lengthy. The problem is giving us some kind of support, but of course logs can float, so... Also logs can miss if we're not quite careful. And we'll make sure we keep the other weapon on hand if we can, just to have it available, since I do plan to switch back to it after some of our tree cutting duties have been accomplished. Yeah, because it'd be a bit of a long walk over to that side, but maybe we can do it. Because the current thing I'm thinking about is checking behind the waterfall, but this is cold water. I don't actually know if I can touch it. Yeah, we take damage pretty quickly, in fact. We can also make ice and float on it, but we basically need to hop over piece by piece. You know, the thing about this is that maybe because it's cold water, the ice won't disappear quite so quickly. And whoop, let's poke this guy. Whoops, missed. Point blank. Hang on. That was too close. Because the thing I'm thinking is, first of all, that we just scarf down some food. And second, that if we take some of this, should have actually gone wide with the raft, and then we can do at that point. Just gonna reattach this piece by piece. Now it is going to flow, but we can either A, put a fan on it, or B, use it Oh, we can even use it to cross this bridge over here, in fact. That it's not the worst idea we've had today. Just need to tilt it slightly. We have to go much longer than that, though. Actually, yeah, no, we want to walk closer over there, and then we want to create ice platforms as well. And walk everything over. Bit by bit. Where's my boulder? Is that the boulder hammer, or is that just a rock? That's a boulder hammer. Okay. There might not be something behind the waterfall, but we were given a clue earlier. And the bunny being right beside it makes me think that's potentially suspicious, since we have seen interactions before where the role of the Lord of the Mountain and his little bunny companions in this game seems to be to lead you to caves. So if we see a bunny, we should be looking for caves. That's my sense. That there is a deliberate association between these two. And yeah, because we did find the Lord of the Mountain interaction already in this game. Or at least one of them, if there is more than one. So that's not unknown to me. Go up this way. Let's prop it up. Totally neglect this weapon. Okay. We should just attach it. Pick it up again after. Interesting thing is that you should theoretically, if you are out of range of an object, be able to do something like take a spear from your weapons and just dangle it on an object and pull it up. I think you're perfectly able to do that. We're getting a ton of super cooks close to midnight, but it was a coincidence. No blood moon, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I think what we want to do... Oh. So I'm going to close into the waterfall somehow. Currently don't really have a good way to do it, but what we can do... Yeah, we actually gained a lot more elevation than I intended, is the thing. But, you know what, we'll just smack him. Sometimes correlation is not causation, exactly. I'll just make a long raft. Or like I was saying, 2 rafts maybe. I keep changing my mind about how I want to do this. But get a stone axe to give you an instant chop, which, whoops. Okay, not a big deal. Yeah, okay, let's say we... Let's make it, want to make a really long plank that, if we make it long enough, maybe it'll get stuck in terrain before it goes too far. feel like we should trade this back out for the axe. Or... yeah, it's an normal wooden stick base, so I think we'll keep it. We can always switch to another boulder later. So the way we're going to do this is not like that. But we have an additional log. You know what? Never mind all this. Let's, this is a calm little eddy here that we can stand on, which is good, because it is starting to drift a bit. But... yeah, I think if we're doing... let's roll for arrows. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Make a platform. Then... the icy water will keep it frozen. It's not going to dissipate like it does in warm water. Move like this. The problem is that this will probably start flowing. Whoa, and then we're going to start dying. Whoa, hang on, hang on. Get me out. This kills you really quickly. Much faster than I expected, in fact. Come on, get out, swim. Swim, swim. Okay. Okay, that was dangerous. Yeah, we shouldn't have dunked it that low. Now the ice doesn't flow. It creates a collision. Look at this. Basically, move the ice over here, jump on it, and continue moving every piece. Well, we're flowing very far away from where I wanted to go. But... and it might be getting warm here. Okay. Oh no, hang on. This is too much damage. Okay. We should have just made more ice and just attached it. But anyway. Let's just do it this way. It's a bit awkward. Probably suboptimal. But it almost works. And in this game, almost is almost good enough. Let's climb out of here. Am I doing many shrines? I currently have 28, I think. Let me take a look. I am doing shrines as I come across them. I've discovered 2 shrines so far that I can't do without the paraglider. So there have been 2 that I had to bail out of for now until I get the glider. And I am pretty sure they are impossible without the glider because inside the shrine you can't actually take out devices that would allow you to get around that. We toast them? Yes, we can, and then let's get the flame weapon. Whoa. Actually. Okay. Come on. Swing this way. No. We keep missing, that's a problem. Let's just let him expose that himself, so we don't have to deal with aiming. And we'll just take a standard flame weapon and whip it. Whoops, come on. A little bit of drift here on my device, or maybe it's just signal loss. Yeah, there we go. Come on. Keep missing this. Okay. Let's just stand back. Whoops. There we go. One more toast should do it. don't think we've actually fought the ice variant yet, up to this point. You're guessing I've found a Proving Grounds kind of shrine? Yep, several of them, in fact. Really enjoyed them, actually. They've been one of the highlights of the game. Okay. We gotta get off of these slow two-handers. Now, here's the problem, is that without the ability... Well, let's see if we can poke this guy and see where he goes. He goes in here. Okay, the cave is right here, actually, so... We're quite correct. That's the indicator. So yeah, because without the ability to stand on icy water, we couldn't actually go behind a waterfall manually. With this passage, we'll do it. And here we are. Discovery. River of the Dead, Waterfall Cave. You've been afraid to try them, so you have 6 or 7 left undone. Now, they were my favorite thing about the first game. Now, the funny thing is that they're the one thing that would scale with your progress in the game, where there's a total gear reset, but you do, of course, keep all your hearts and stamina, so we've been maybe having an especially challenging time with 1 or 2 of them, but... I mean, Eventide Island was some of the most fun I had with the first game, and so I was very naturally drawn to doing the Proving Grounds challenge. There was one that gave me some difficulty, in which I had to retry for some time, because it wasn't that hard, but it was really easy to slip up and get one shot with how low my total health pool is currently. Because that is one thing that kind of matters here. We also have no bow right now. Let's switch to the Mighty Construct. We'll keep a duplex for the time being. Because in a rental market, don't give away your duplex. Okay. Is this guy going to try to snipe me? Come on. Okay. And then we'll stay on the Flame Blade, why not? Yeah, he'll go down really easily. I wonder if this shrine will just give me a blessing right away, or if it's actually something for me to do. We'll find out. Also, this is why we shouldn't have just thrown away our boulder. That's okay, we'll just spend the spike on this one. Stone axes don't work on this. Axes are for trees. You do need boulders and rocks, not stones. Did we check this? Rock salt. Okay, not great. But oh, here's this guy. There we go. We'll grab him and then he'll up to the shrine. Anyway, here we are. And in we go. Oh, it actually just gave me a tip about what we said about the rabbits. I haven't been paying attention to the tips. That's how you know. Fire and water. Well, here's some electricity. It's shocking. But we will use this totally non-conductive material. Create a safe crossing. Perhaps. Oh, actually, there are some leads here. We can... Let's pull the leads out. Look for chests, of course. Always a good habit. We're at fewer than 3 hearts, so let's not slip up too much before we get healed. And yeah, this is non-conductive, and that's okay. We'll probably have to use it for something. It is showing me here that these are impervious to fire, but we'll need to grab another one for the crossing, I'm sure. Or we will just get toasted. That's an ice block. So we need to block the flames, and then grab the ice block, probably. I said block the flames, right? That's partial. Okay, there we go. Seems like that was shrinking a little bit, but... Oops. Sure, you know what? We'll stack the other one too. Just a loose stack will probably do. Assuming we can climb it. We cannot. Alright. That's okay, we'll just climb right up this way. The way we could have done before. Mighty Zonite shield 50. That's not bad. And the Zonite material, I think, is actually impervious to lightning, if I recall, so I think we will use it. Got a Dragonbone Boko shield. That was with the Shield of the Mind's Eye on it. I think we'll... Yeah, we'll just drop it. We're likely to attach some kind of device to this anyway, so... We've generally been underusing the shields, but... occasionally they have some pretty interesting shield surf effects and the like. So... And... we'll grab this in case we want it for... non-conductive material for some reason. Okay, so... let's see... what this is. Block this. And then that allows me to raise this. Although, that... because it's not something I can climb... it might not really be that helpful. And this is conductive as well. Let's get a lead out of here. There's one, yeah. Possibly there's some kind of switching mechanism that I need. What is this? Maybe that actually is a switching mechanism, in which case we'll just it seems like I can't actually get up to that gate myself. Whoops. A little too much weight here. Okay. Use motion control waggle to do part of this. Yeah, because what happens if I attach and then make it conductive? Is it in range of anything? Not really. But ice is climbable. That's the important thing about it. So I think the idea is that if I place this and then place ice on top of it, I would be able to climb on top of that. It's telling me I can attach to something, but let's say we grab ice. I'd be able to get over that. And probably around. Also, if we just have two large blocks, we could cross over to the fire section just fine, so I don't know why we're doing this part yet. Because it looks like we probably can't, given... Yeah, we need an additional climbable surface before we can get up there. So let's actually not do this. Let's, the climbable surface will be one ice block and one other block. The other block might be the one that's being sprayed by fire right now, but we'll discover that soon enough. Okay. Let's not die to this. That was a bit close, but... you know what? Dunk in the water. Put up the fire. Look at that. Physics. Makes total sense. Anything down here? Nothing. Okay, we need to send this across without it being toasted, so we'll do that. And let's move this slightly in to prevent issues. Oh, in fact, I'm standing on top of this now, so maybe wiggling it is not as good. But we'll do it this way. Just be extra cautious. And then now we have two climbing surfaces that will both get toasted by fire. And that's why we're going to use this to block the first one. And then we're going to create a climbing wall. Yeah, we'll stack on top of this thing. If we can. Drag it back slightly. And then we'll just do multiple stacks to take this up as a kind of ladder. I don't know, we could just jump that manually, but... Okay, hang on. We can do this a lot better. Yeah, let's just do it this way. Oh, you can't climb on this. That's okay. We'll just need to displace the ice as our only available climbing surface. That's fine, in fact. We don't need to worry too much about that. As long as we can walk the ice, climb it some more. Same video over here, we just climb the ice again and again. And grab additional blocks. I'm past that point, so just take this. We need to do a little bit of displacement. Maybe even attach this on the side and then rotate. Hang on. I said attach this on the side. Then perhaps rotate. Nope, wrong one. Can it not attach to the ice? Of course it can. In we go. Like that. And we need to do that one more time. With one additional stack. And without toasting the ice. Don't we have an additional block available? Yes, we do, down below. I totally forgot to get that one. That's okay, actually. We'll put the ice in the middle here. And, whoops. Okay, never mind. Start over. Yeah, basically it's going to be stack and rotate, and let's not lose the ice. If we can at all avoid it. Yeah, we can stand on this one next. Climb the ice next. It's a little bit awkward, but it's just how we'll do it. Whoa. Or not. Hang on. As you can see, we've somewhat given up on making everything line up neatly. just to be a little more expedient. One thing that we should be doing is pre-stacking the bottom block while we still are able to reach it. By that I mean just pulling it up, making sure we have an additional platform. Kind of like this. Because losing track of that block was the issue that we ran into on our prior attempt. Indeed. Yeah, we don't want to lose that, obviously. We'll actually have room for several more blocks here, so... Oops. Okay, here we go. We can actually run up slightly. We do need the remaining crate, if we can. Can I reach it, please? I can't. That's okay, we'll drop the ice first. We'll have a bit of a climbing surface to descend. After we've had the opportunity to move this guy up. We totally broke it, didn't we? I broke it. That's okay, in fact, because maybe we can still do this. Let's go ice. It's probably not okay. I think we did in fact need all four, but yeah, the problem is that having a certain amount of height here does lead you to some situations like this. Yeah, you know, we could have done it like this in the first place. Here we are. So, as usual, we made things more complicated than we actually had to. But we're here. And we are done. Okay. Alright. That's it for the waterfall cave. That, however, does not resolve the issue of what the Temple of Time was telling me earlier about some kind of water gate. And not even the Nixonian one. Telling me about something behind the gate where perhaps something related to goddess activation is trapped underwater. Let's go over here. Also, it's really slippery here for some reason. I mean, it's a cave. It's likely to be a little bit damp at least, but let's just hope and grab the bomb flower. Instead, we're slipping like crazy. That's okay. Whoa. Try to make it up step by step and find something on a ledge. No, we don't really need a bomb flower. Okay. That's fine. Let's just ascend and done with it. If we can find a location to do so. A little bit low, in fact. We can create a platform or climb up to a shrine that would resolve that. Where will this take me? We'll see. Okay, all the way up here. So the gate to the Great Plateau. We still don't know what that is. It might, I'm thinking, Still be the Colosseum. I mean, the thing is, in the original game, the Great Plateau, strictly speaking, didn't really have a gate. It just kind of dropped off in all directions, right? So it's a little difficult for me to see what is inferred by that. Also, we can make a log bridge over here if we want. We probably will, but let's see where we go first. Got a couple of boulders. Oh yeah, this is a classic Breath of the Wild moment. Recreated in all its glory. Oh, totally missed. It's supposed to light all that on fire, come on. We can try it with another one. Nope. There we go. Much better. That's how to do it. No, he's not even going to walk there. Whoops. I'm gonna get pelted. Oh, also green dragon. Let's get rid of this guy first. We don't have one with the green dragon scales yet. I'm not sure I'll be within range of it here. I think it might actually be a bit far. For a bow. That is part of its light pattern. Anyway, let's take care of that moblin and then we'll see what can be resolved by that gate. Whoops, standing too close, as always. I guess maybe the cold climate actually amplifies the ice effect. I don't recall if that's really the case, but... Come on, get over there. I wonder if we can just attach a stick of meat to this and then launch it as bait. I bet we can. I'm kind of tempted to test it, in fact, but... And that would be a waste of some good meat. Is he gonna walk over? Alright. Oh. Is this within range? I don't know if it is. It totally isn't. Yeah. Let's just take him. I see another potential cave system or... something back here. Is that it? No, that's just a shadow. Wasted probably too many arrows in that one, but that's okay. Also, that I don't think I'd seen previously. This is our first view of the boundary with the Gerudo region. In fact, this is where we caught the giant super horse in the last game. What is that? Wasn't that where the camel was originally parked? Or is that just a shard that's fallen from the sky now? Or maybe that was where the camel was parked. I don't actually completely remember. But anyway, we shall see. These guys carrying... are those boulders? And clearly they don't mean to pick a snowball fight or something. Oh, that's a conspicuous looking rock. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's like a... that's the lookout monument or what have you. I do remember that from the original game as well. That if you get to this region fairly early and go up there, there was a little something that awaited you. We'll see what it is this time. World Claymore. I mean, surely we'll replace something for it. Maybe one of the flame blades, in fact. Because we do have an alternative for this. It's a little bit redundant right now, so... do you think we should take it? We're a little heavy on two-handers, but... we probably could use some just for raw combat. Yahaha. Okay. This thing over here. Whoops, not you. This thing over here is a maw. Maybe that's what it means by the gate. Or it's below the gate, below the waters perhaps. Not exactly sure, because if we look around, what would really be affecting the Temple of Time? That's another thing I've determined, is that if one of the limitations of the paraglider, or rather not having a paraglider, is that I can't take fall damage from jumping down into very treacherous looking pits. Ferries actually do correct for that, because ferries do just let you take fall damage and hop down wherever you please, so at least if there are some limits on that, we don't know what they are yet. Seems like there is some kind of cavern system or something over there as well, on that cliff. That seems to be across the way, though. I think that's a natural location to check, obviously, even if we are not yet ready to dive straight down. Just looking at what else might theoretically look like the gate that we should be inspecting. Alright, let's go see what that is. I might not hop down yet. We haven't actually hopped down any of them. And partly because we can't really climb on the walls on the way down if it's covered in gloom. Yeah, but I do want to see what that is. At the very least, we'll mark it on the map. Even if we don't go much further than that. Okay, got a black moblin at the very least guarding it. We can take him. 2 hearts to heal up. What is this? Yeah, so this totally is a snowball. Oops. Kind of wonder if we can just drop a snowball on him. Or roll one. Something much bigger. also explosives all over the place. Let's... Oh, he's going to do the same thing. We totally saw that coming, too. Thought I could get out of range and hit his first, but... That's why you don't just pick a snowball fight with somebody holding explosives. Alright, so let's go back down. And we'll try it again. I should actually head back to the woodcutter's hut as well if I can find it here. We'll probably just play on the plateau for a good chunk of this session. See what else we can discover about it. Notice that there is a waterfall across the way over in the adjoining region. It seems to get into some kind of cave system. That maybe worth looking at. We should actually mark it because, if I'm not mistaken, actually I don't know what that is. Probably just a new cave. Yeah, because eventually we'll want to look for Forgotten Temple, and that is, or was, on one of the zone boundaries. Like over here or something, I think. But of course a lot of the boundaries have changed, so we don't really know that for a fact. Or maybe it was here. It's one of those two. Maybe it was here. It's pretty close to the Rito area though, so maybe not. Because this looks like Rito Village. So I think Forgotten Temple is probably somewhere this way. But with the boundary changes, the redistricting, so that different regions of Hyrule are now represented by a rather different configuration of members of Parliament, I suppose. I don't exactly know at a glance where everything is. But all the boundaries being redrawn for electoral advantage. Okay, let's go up. Got some ice over here. And very gloomy too. You know what? There's a discovery, but let's melt this. The Plateau West Chasm. Yeah, as you can see, not really an easy way down. We can't. Let's see where that goes. I believe the chasms do go to the depths, but we're not ready for that yet because we don't have. First of all, we're not confident we can make the trip down. We also don't really have a way up. Let's melt this stuff though. I think just a slap with the fire blade. Actually, the way I did it in the previous game was that I just dropped something like a fire weapon and watch things melt slowly. I think you can just kind of hold it too, and if you hold it, it just melts. You just wait. I doubt this gets me very much, except for these shards of ice and a climbing ledge, which is probably not useful to me yet. Given that we don't have a way out. On the other hand, maybe it is a short chasm where with... See, the thing is... Yeah. Don't know enough yet about how to get out. Really make that trip, but... First of all, we have a Korok here somewhere. Dead center. Maybe one that's kind of running around. Well, given the presence of some freezing fruit, I suspect that I actually need to freeze a platform and walk over. Because it's telling me it's dead center, but we can't reach anything there just yet. Oh. Let's see, what are we going to do? We've expended a lot of the low-grade fruit. And low-grade food, rather, at this point. At least the ones that don't have smell effects attached to them. Oh. We'll have to chow down on something. But we'll worry about it if we have to step on the ice for some reason. Because what if I... So this is one thing that we could do. Let's say we have a bit of chew jelly over here. Why don't we just blow it in with something? If we can do that. Well, I don't have a guster weapon right now. So that might not work. It looks like there's probably Korok that I have to stand on right in the center. And, well, that would mean that we'd probably need 2 pieces of ice. And trade away into the center, so... Let's get 2 pieces of ice. On a cheap bow. We don't have a cheap bow. This is the best we can do. That's a little too far, in fact. Yeah, let's just spend an additional one. Rather than messing with it too much. Has to be something for standing. Whoa, it's weighing me down. Hang on. Didn't expect that we'd suddenly have too much weight from carrying that. Guess we'll have to eat the seafood paella as we try to get out of here. And then, oh, I am much too heavy. I'm much too heavy. Right, because this is actually warm water. No, it's not. It's icy water. And how come everything's melting? Oh, because I'm wearing the flame blade. That's why. The flame sword was melting the platform. That's why that didn't work. So, let's not wear the flame blade when I'm trying to make ice. Anyway. Yeah, because we melted this previously, we got nothing. But yeah, because I was standing here, we did get nothing, right? Let me check this again. Okay, so this time, let's not melt our own ice with a weapon on my back. You can actually pick up ice shards, but they do blow up pretty quickly. Well, we can kind of merge into them, though. Like, if you melt ice like that, if it's an interactable item, you should be able to create a temporary weapon with it before it just melts. Anyway. Was that before or after we dealt with the Octorok? It was before. Let's have it. If there's anywhere here. But yeah, there clearly was a spot in the middle that we could have gone to, but we'll just use 2 platforms and not melt them this time. down slowly until we are dead center. We'll let things float. Here we go. Okay, simple. As long as we get out. Very back to basics. This way of playing. I mean, that's the nice thing about this game. The whole thing kind of feels like early game Breath of the Wild. We can probably sneak strike this guy if we get in nice and close. But we'll try to do it with the spike ball. And that wouldn't do enough damage to outright kill him, though, so we just mostly disable him, and then we pull out and try to finish with barrels, perhaps. Barrels of fun. Oh, okay, too loud. Alright, fine. Oh yeah, he's gonna toss the barrel, so. Okay. He is gonna try the other one. Unless we do it first. No, too late. Okay. Let's actually heal up, because he might be a little bit strong. Let's do that plus something cheap with 1 heart. We've got something here that I can use. Surely. Looking for something specific. This. There we go. Okay. Yeah, because he tries to spike me with his head, which is... Wow, he kicks hard. We don't want a shock resistance yet. Let's just get out of here. We do need to heal up, though. Guess we're using the 7 hearts skewer. Probably. No, we'll use it by 6 hearts. Oh. Okay. There we go. Just need to exercise a little bit of aggression. And got it. I mean, the Great Fairy Clue probably is referring to this. Under the gate, right? Is this a gate? The plateau? Maybe. Or we could just traverse the perimeter until we find a reasonable candidate otherwise. It says it's under the water. Or at least I thought it did. Maybe something like that. Unless it's down below. Whoops. Hang on. Let's get out. And let's do it the old way. That is something I call the old way, but it truly never gets old. I bet these pins were probably the same thing, just slightly off target. In which case we should actually... yeah. Delete and get over there. Anyway, we would need to head down. That looks like another location worth checking. Crossing the ice, again, is going to be a bit of an obstacle for us over here, so... We did manage it rather awkwardly last time. Might be a better crossing point than what we have found so far. Here's another ice lake. We do still have a flame blade in hand, don't we? Let's do that. Okay, that'll toast it. Don't really need it, but what we're going to do is we're going to affix it to the... No, we're not, because we want the Zone Edge shield to be lightning resistant, so we'll leave it. Blood Moon, let's not stand here, because the ice lake is going to come right back.
When the glow of the blood-stained moon shines upon the land.
Yeah, we'll just continue doing a circuit around here. More ice ammo is good. Let's stand way back this time, though. Anything? No. And then we'll proceed this way. Getting low on arrows again. That has been our experience this entire game. We do have a bridge over here, which we probably should have just found in the first place to avoid a lot of complication. The previous game had a Korok under the bridge, actually, but we can't expect the locations to be identical, even with this old iron platform that was formerly used for magnesis. Still in the mix. This is actually exactly the same interaction as the previous game, just with a different tool. Alright, so... Yeah, I don't know if this ever really qualified as a gate, it's just a waterfall. Because I was originally thinking something like the Colosseum, which is quite close by. Maybe there's a gate-like structure that I just don't remember. And of course we'll see if certain things like the Talus are in the same spot. And we'll take its eyeballs because we just happen to hit things that precisely. Look at that. Oh yeah, no, we already tagged that. That's the Great Ferry. You know what? Maybe that should be our destination today, is to hit the first ferry of the game. Because we're overdue for some gear upgrades. I don't know if we have the right materials for our current set, or if even stuff like the CC had are upgradable at all, since they might be mostly cosmetic. We have a shrine down here. We'll obviously do that. Now that we see it. This boulder looks pretty pushable to me. So we'll do the sensible thing and push it. Yeah, because, no, this was the very notable skull encampment in the first game that is, in fact, one of the very memorable early encounters. I think it was there that I first learned how to, you know, boulder bomb and firebomb enemies from above. Develop all kinds of skill sets that we didn't use so much once we were off the plateau and had much stronger positional tools. Anyway, electric light. Let's figure out which weapon we want to use for this, and we'll go stone club, I think. Okay. Spike ball's mostly done with here, but stocking up on arrows is certainly a good thing. Another one. Let's drop it. We're actually pretty well supplied on shields. So, yeah, naturally we'll do this one, but let me just scout this side first before we commit to anything. We're also right below a sky platform here, with what seems like a, whoops, rather glowy bottom. Like it's more luminous stone or something. Let's... Ah, okay, so this is the one we tagged previously, and so... This is not redundant. We'll take a look at it before we fall down or do something silly. Big tree over there. Bridge over here. There used to be the mini-boss down there as well, and a shrine at the bottom level, but we'll see all that eventually. Yeah, objective today, we'll clear the shrines that we can. We'll probably move towards the Great Ferry unless we figure out what's going on with the plateau and the Temple of Time first, which, again, seems like it will probably require some interaction with the chasm leading to the depths. Let's not fight the whiz rope right now. Let's just go. If we can. Now, give me the climb interaction, please. Come on. That's how you know this game is designed for the parachute. It's not very generous when it comes to just the gentle descent. And in we go. Force transfer. Okay, yeah, this tells you that you can plug something in there and then move the gear, and then that will turn the connected piece on that side. However, we would need to attach first. There's only one attach point that glues, but it should remain in place. We should be able to move this. Or, oh no, we actually need to use this to turn, but then we need something else to work as a shaft, don't we? I think the way it will work is that we turn this first, and then we recall it. Like that. Oops. Yeah, because you can't do a spinning motion here, but you can detach that. Then plug this in. This is actually the first shrine where the recall mechanic has been relevant. don't think I've used it anywhere else. There we go. Can we take that shaft? Probably the door opened again, but in the absence of that, well, first of all, see what's down here. That looks like, yep. So you can turn this from the outside. Exit is up there. Probably some kind of optional treasure chest elsewhere. What is this? We'll see. Some kind of item dispenser. Anyway. Possibly we do, in fact. Whoops. Hang on, let's cancel out of this. Oh, we can take the platform. If we can take either platform, can we climb them? No, because they are stuck under a rail, okay. And that is fine. But what we should do is attach this. And see what that gives me. A second piece. Ah, I see. If we reclaim the first piece, then we'd be able to make something that I can climb all the way up. So, let's do it. So, we'll go rewind like this, and we'll grab the third piece across. And then, shake this one loose. We build a lengthier three-piece rod. And that should allow me to see what's inside the treasure chest, which chances are might be something that we don't have room for in our bags. You know what? We can actually just reach it and pull it down. That's even better. Because I doubt we can climb this. We can just reach, however. Let's see what this is. Mighty Construct Bow. That's good, actually. We have room for more bows. We're longing for something like that. Can we run up this thing? Because if we can, then may be able to do this. Or perhaps we needed two beside each other. Let's see. A little bit awkward, but clearly is doable, so we'll do it this way until we see some indication otherwise. It's a little bit awkward to control. Probably not the optimal way to do it, but we'll run with it. Or tiptoe with it. And hope that Joy-Con drift doesn't act up in a very inopportune moment. Looks like two pieces will probably be enough to do this, in fact, which means that we should do is we should bundle these together with a bit of an offset. That's not a bit of an offset. That's okay. And then we just attach it. We don't need to. Well, we can angle it down a bit, but angle it. And Create a wide piece. Just angle it down like this, and then we're totally able to climb this stuff, by the way. Vertically. Or are we? No, that's just a dash. Okay. Let's disassemble. Make sure we get everything up here. We'll then move this down. Oh. Okay. You know what? Let's attach this again so we can pick it up. Make it both. And do we want to drag this down? Well, we can, but we're currently inserting a little too much weight in this thing. However, go up slightly. Can, but not quite good enough. What we can do, however, I have to get used to recall because we've been using so little of it. I feel like recall positioning is actually what you're supposed to do with this one, but we'll do things the hard way anyway. Because we can. You know, I bet. Yeah, when we're still sticking to it, we can't actually walk towards it, but what we can do is create a central construct that is going to sit against a wall. It's going to be unbound. I can see the problem with this already, actually, that there are going to be some weight issues. Yeah, but I think you needed to lift this platform up to begin with when you're not standing on it, because what we'll do is we'll set this down. We'll set this down this way so we have something that's just kind of next to the wall. And a little bit lower. There we go. We're definitely overcomplicating it, but whoops. Oh, now we definitely overcomplicate it. Okay, this thing's not going to lift very well, but we'll lift it and then we'll recall it afterwards, because this will be its previous motion. Fortunately, we're back down to 2, but it is doable with that, so. Go up so we can get the view here. I'm going to do the same thing that we did before, except we're going to use recall this time to move the platform up. Okay. Just rotate this properly. Not like that, but like this. Maybe we'll rotate this down a little bit. Okay. Now, we attempt to stick these together. We can create a ladder up to the next one. However, what we actually want to do is lift this one so we also have a recall motion on it eventually. We may need to do it with a rod so we have a bit more room to move it up. So. Yeah, move it all the way up because we stand on top of it and recall it. Now what we do is, once again, we... Whoops. Create something that will let me climb up. Actually, we probably didn't even need a recall in the lower one. I guess we'll be able to hug the wall. Yeah, we need to rotate this slightly. There we go. Like that, perhaps. We're able to just hug the wall and go up. We can just recall this one directly. Should be able to take me up. Come on. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Let's go down. We're going to once again use the handle. Move everything up. Back down. Oh. Well, that spoiled that. Okay, but this is what we'll do. That is definitely what we'll do. In fact, I like that diagonal well enough that we'll keep it as a method. Try to join this first so we can put this down. Yeah, that's actually a much better way of doing this. I like it because if you just put it against the wall, it's really easy to walk up because you can just lean against the wall and don't worry about balance. Basically, you just lean into this one again, and this time we'll try not to fall off. Okay. Once again, whoops, no, I don't want to attach it like that. Let's move it further in. Nope. That perception, not my friend. Come on. Better. Move the whole thing up. Move the whole thing down. We get on top. And we recall it. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go. This one? Yes. The line shows me. It will go up. We got it. We don't really have a good understanding of the recall mechanic yet. That's the main issue. But that's how to use it. Took me a little longer than it should have, but we got it. We will have to wind down before too long, but the ambition that I have in mind is to make it to the first Great Ferry. if we can. It's just over there. In fact, there is another shrine on my way, which it's very tempting to do that now, but do I want to take this guy? I don't know. These are a bit of a pain sometimes. We don't really need his rod either. Topaz is nice, but we have such a full inventory at this point, I'd rather skip him. Before he makes thunder out of everything. Okay, shrine over there. Naturally, we do need a safe way down, which in the original game is not something you can do out of Great Plateau. You can't just drop down without falling to your death until you get the paraglider. This game, we'll have to do it somewhat differently. I mean, the last game it just kind of formally prevents you from doing so, which is a little different from being mechanically unable to do it. This guy's in the way. We may need to take him after all. Well, okay, let's not drop the bow. Well. Oh, I see. There's a fire keys that's... or a lightning keys that's stuck inside. Looks like he spawned right there. Is he gonna fly out? Oh, he's actually stuck inside the bubble geometry. Oh no, he's out. It looks like he's stuck inside the bubble geometry. I guess with some kind of explosion range on it, we can do something about it. But anyway, he's stuck. Oh. And let's see if we can get to climb down. Let's see if we can do something that we never did in the original game, which is just climb off the plateau. I guess you can do it eventually, given enough climbing stamina, but... And of course, you'd never have a reason to do this if you had a paraglider when it came to descending. And we'll try. And this way before thunderstorm hits, and thunderstorm is going to make everything slippery, so we'll counter that. Whoa! Okay. Alright, we'll probably respawn at the shrine, if I had to guess. That's what we get for skipping the glider. That's okay. We'll go back. And get out. Which direction are we facing? That way. Yeah. I'll just climb back out. Some stamina here. Maybe we should fight this guy just to reduce pain a little bit. Oh, whoops. I was thinking of throwing the hammer at him. Whoa, that was a hard hit. Let's eat up. What do we have? Electric resistance? No, we don't really need it. We'll wait until it's actually necessary. Let's overheal a little bit with a skewer. Okay. We actually did have room for the topaz rod, so sure, we'll take it. Ah, so you can go a little bit lower in the plateau before descending. That's useful. Maybe we'll eventually find out what that whole gate was all about. Make it back to that shrine and the ferry. Again. Aracuda on the cliff. I don't think we'd seen that interaction previously. And they're very well designed enemies in some ways. Just tons of different interactions. This was previously what a talus was, right? Do we want to deal with that right now? It's pretty close to it anyway. Yeah, it's totally the talus area, right? No. Maybe not. A couple of blood moons later, these things are still hanging around. All the old spots. Got a bit of a camp over there. Oh, it's the battle talus now. Oh, battle taluses are fun. We can farm some cash off of them, even though we have almost no arrows. Okay, let's snipe off the enemies first so we can go directly for a kill if we can. So we're gonna go long range, fronting bow. And hopefully this won't activate a talus as soon as something dies. Whoop. Shot the tree, okay. Got a sniper range here. It does activate. Does it activate the talus? It does not. Great, so we'll just kill all these guys first. Nope. Okay, that activates the talus. That's fine. We'll go Aracuda for the remaining ones, probably. Because of course they would have one of these at the farmer location. We're actually running pretty low on eyeballs here. We've been using them so heavily. Let's just get a manual shot for the next one. Okay. Our aim isn't that bad. We do need to heal up because this guy's going to hit pretty hard. Let's get some food. And we know that the trick to these guys is actually ascend. And having a good smashy weapon, we can actually just hammer him with the previous stone talus because justice would be served. Now we can also use the platform. Perhaps. Wow. Okay. Let's not take chances here. What? Nope, couldn't get in position. Come on. We might just have to bomb him. Let's consume all of our good food, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, we probably want to keep the effect food for later. That's okay, we needed to reduce... you know what? We want speed. We actually do want to run speed. There we go. And we'll hit him with the other talus. Because that's what we do. Smack him with a bomb arrow while we're at it. Wrong bow. Let's go with Construct bow. We should be able to take him down. Okay, and then we go ascend underneath. Okay. Down. Spent way too much food, but we'll cook some more. We got another Talus Heart, which we can attach to one of our existing weapons, probably. We want to dish it to Topaz? Not really. We'll attach it to Claymore, actually, because it'll be a significant gain. Now to plus 13. And then that'll allow me to keep the axe as well. So let's go for Claymore. We haven't fought an Igneo Talus yet, but if we eventually encounter one, I wonder if it drops a different heart. It also gives me a fire effect. Those are consistently fun fights. The enemy design in this game has been absolutely top-notch. And the thing is, because of the positioning, I was saying this on a previous stream too, because of the positioning, every single one of these Battle Talus fights has been quite different. Because they're affected by the placement of the weak point, as well as the placement of the platforms and the surrounding terrain in terms of how you can actually approach it. And so, each one of these has been quite a change from the others. Do we have this marked? I don't think we do. Okay, it's pretty visible, but, you know, we'll take it anyway. We've got a lookout tower over there. Have we marked this one? Assuming that my marker actually hit. I don't think it did, in fact. I think it's sort of in a line of sight to something that's actually further. So let's remove that. Unless we get a clearer view, like over here. We can see a couple of shrines over there, in fact. Like somewhere in between those two markers. That's okay, that's approximate. We'll get it eventually. And there's that one all the way over there. Let's scope it out. Now, because we have slippery terrain, I don't know if we can climb down right this instant, but we can mark that. A lot of shrines, actually. And very easy to see out in the open. I mean, that's because that's supposed to be the tutorial area. The second tutorial area after the first one, rather. The introductory area. We just never did it, so... Anyway, curiosity satisfied by the Battle Talus. We still don't know what the gate was for the Temple of Time, but... I assume it was that maw that was by the waterfall. Unless there's something more obvious that will present itself. I was hoping to make it to that Great Ferry, but I think maybe we'll have to do that at the beginning of the next stream. What ammunition do we need? We need a lot more lightning now. No, we need a lot more fire. Actually, we're low on fire. We don't really have red shoe jelly, so let's go red shoe. And then multiply that. Yeah, we have some low points here. We're still kind of within range to walk over to the ferry, but maybe there's a better dropping point to do that. But part of me does want to scan the perimeter of the plateau just to have a better sense of what was being described by the Temple of Time. Yeah, that's the entry gate, apparently. But it did say something underwater, so That's why the mod being placed next to... Yeah, we can't fight these guys in a rain. They'll rain out the fire. Having the maw next to the waterfall immediately made that look pretty suspicious. I assume that we'll have to jump into one of the maws to take care of this problem anyway. It might even be this one right here, depending on whether this qualifies as a front gate. So we also might have to deal with the evil hands here, looking at all the gloom. We're doing good in health, not too badly. Evil hands, are you here? Whoa. Water. Oh, water. Maybe there's something here. Got a couple of things that are interactable. We have falling platforms that could be recalled up to the sky. We have a rather ominous looking chasm which we can discover. I hope. Discovery, yeah. Plateau North Chasm. We'll eventually do the chasms, just not right now. Yeah, but I'm sure the chasms are probably required for something to do with the Temple of Time. If this qualifies as a front gate, especially. Was there something to interact with? I don't see it. What we can do is swim across. Do it to Sora armor after all. But I think the Great Fairy on the other side should obviously be the next major target once we've had our fill over here. Yeah, this is just where we entered. We're close to it, on the way to the Temple of Time. This might also qualify as some kind of gate. Maybe. Oh, yeah, this looks like a rather conspicuous road, so... Got a recall stone over there as well. It's also low enough in elevation here that I may be able to descend somewhat gently. Over here, I think the idea was that you can use the recall stone as a glider point to get up. Here, this is also laid out quite a bit differently from what it was like previously, so... I mean, this looks kind of like a gate, doesn't it? Well, if that's the case, let's go down and let's find out. Because maybe a new cavern has opened up that didn't previously exist. Okay. We've learned a share of non-glider techniques at this point, but I don't see anything here that looks obviously enterable, so... You need to reach your friend, of course you do. Well, we'll see what we want to do with that. Where's your friend? All the way up there, okay. Do we have construction materials to do this with? I assume that it's going to be something with the recall stone, actually. Or we just place it up part by part. Over there. See, this is how you get roped into playing more and more of this game. It's just that you keep running into things that are interesting. So, let's see if we can do it. Then we'd have to go back up. That's okay, because we know we can ascend through there, which means that we can create some kind of plank to raise it, perhaps. And create some kind of structure that will allow me to elevate it. Oh, even if it's like you build a foundation or something and you just build an intermediate platform with a couple of pillars like this, then this, this, and this. Then create a box of sorts. You can do this with some additional platforms as reinforcement points. Then park the car on top. Oh. Now, do we want to see that interaction? Hang on just a moment. Let's go see what she's up to. Well, that's Gerudo outfit if we ever see one. To Lookout Landing. Lookout Landing. We haven't been there. I suppose that's specifically there to catch people who want to check the plateau first. Joke's on you, I checked it 70 hours in. So what we can do is we can even use the recall stone to totally topple this over, and then whoops. Now, will it actually take me up? Probably not. It's been sitting here for some time, so never mind. Whoop. Let's deactivate this remote. Let's be attached to this thing as well. What we can do is send it up somehow. I just need to get within range of pulling it up. Yeah, so like this, this, and we just need to yank it up step by step. Also, the fact that everything here is very loosely anchored is becoming a bit of a problem, but that's good. Maybe this will be reachable. We'll check it. I do need to go fairly soon, so if we don't manage to do it now, we'll play with it when I get back. Or we'll just mark this location and do it later after the ferry has been taken care of, because I think we'll need to do a more elaborate construction. The idea, I think, will be to ascend gradually and just pull it up the way I'm already thinking of doing. But we need a much longer reach to do that. Or we need propellers on some kind of ascending machine, or a balloon. Balloon would actually be really good. In fact, we probably could just do it with a balloon. I think what we'll do is we'll just mark this spot. now. And we'll deal with it at a later point. I feel like this will take me a little bit more time than I have currently. Let's mark it. And we may actually just stop here. And because then we've got a pretty clear agenda. We want to deal with the Korok. We almost certainly have to go down into the chasms to deal with the Temple of Time, but then we have the Great Ferry that's on the other side, who is a very conspicuous destination that will be a major mark of progress. So let's just kind of camp out here in front of the plateau, in front of the fire, and then looking majestic with our Talus hammer and our construct bow. And we're going to call it a stream, so thank you very much for watching. I'll see if there is anybody who is a plausible raid target, which is much likelier at this time of the day than at any other. And with any luck, we are going to continue this with a session on the usual night schedule a couple of hours from now, depending on a couple of factors, but hopefully we can make it work. So, all that aside, let's pass you on to somebody who's not playing Zelda, I hope. And we'll see how that goes. Thank you very much for watching. And until we come back very, very soon, have a great day ahead of you. Enjoy your next destination, whatever it may be. And above all, fare thee well.